Everybody, it's Erica from In the Company of Cards. Welcome back. I thought I'd do something brief today, just so you can see my face and hear my voice. And then tomorrow I will spend writing my Substack. So if you're not following me there, please do. Would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe here and hit the notification bell for when I upload because, I don't really have a schedule. It's just when I feel called to come here. But great to see you all and love the fact that there are a bunch new subscribers. So thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Okay, what are we looking at? A few things, kind of all over the place. But again, I don't think this will be long. I know I have a reading to do in a bit, and I don't want to be late for that. If you'd like a reading under the video, just click that thing under the video, and you can find out how to get a reading with me. Okay, so first off, a couple of things in reference to the last video or last couple of videos. The first is that on the subject of Cory Booker, I misspoke when I said that he missed votes the day that he did his 25-hour marathon standing up at the podium thing. I'm calling it stand up at the podium thing because it really was not a filibuster. A filibuster is where you sort of prevent something from coming to a vote by standing up there and talking. There was no vote at the time that he was scheduled at the time that he was standing up there for the 24 hours. So he did not miss any votes, uh, nor did he stand in the way of any votes by standing up there for 25 hours. So, but anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. The other thing is, I don't know if you remember, but a couple of videos ago, I decided to look at Ukraine just to see how they were doing. And I really thought I was going to get one answer, and then I ended up getting the opposite answer, about which I was thrilled, but couldn't really figure it out. And then, of course, now we have discovered that they did that terrific maneuver that took out those Russian planes. I think it's great. And I really do continue to think that Ukraine will um, survive and win. And I think that Russia uh, just doesn't know whether they're coming or going, which is great. So those are the two things I wanted to first talk about. Then I wanted to just ask a couple of questions. So I just heard on the news that, today, this month is Pride Month. June is Pride Month. And in honor of Pride Month, our friend, not Pete Hegseth, has made an announcement that the U.S. Navy ship, the Harvey Milk, will be renamed. Now, a lot of you may not know who Harvey Milk is, or was. So Harvey Milk was from San Francisco, and he was elected to the Board of Supervisors for the city of San Francisco. And he was the one of the very first openly gay elected officials in government. He also was assassinated, murdered, along with the mayor of San Francisco at the time. So that was a year later in 1978. And so he's considered an American hero. Just saying, he's a hero, of course, in the LGBTQ community. And so, what better way to mark what day are we on? The third day of Pride, but to say that this ship will be renamed. So, I mean, I'm just going to ask, why? Why in the world would we rename the ship? Pete Hegseth. I know what I think, but you're not here for what I think. Well, some of you are. But really, let's see what the cards have to say. Why is that ship going to be renamed? And you know what let's do? Let's use the ship since there is a card for that. Okay. Why is the Harvey Milk, the U.S. Navy ship Harvey Milk, being renamed? We're going to look for the ship and see what in the world Pete Hegseth was thinking. Like I said, we already know. I'm just curious to see if the cards want to give us any more detail. Okay, so this is the ship, which will be renamed. Okay, so I mean, it's a really dumb move on the part of Hegseth. I think it is to curry favor with 47 and say to 47, I may be a drunk, entertainment purposes only and allegedly, but I'm your buddy, I'm your pal, I'm your friend. You can trust me. But it's stupid. I mean, he's stupid. It's also the move of a bully, and Hegseth knows that it will appeal to the bully in chief. So I can mirror these two cards together. So the reason is exactly what it looks like. It's a bully move. It's ugly. The timing of it was, of course, purposefully hurtful or meant to be purposefully hurtful. Um, so there you go. Okay. The next question. There are uh, apparently 200,000 children worldwide who have died since USAID was shut down by Marco. Marco says, not one single child has died on my watch. I don't know exactly what he thought means by on his watch, but 200,000 children have died. I would like to know, in the fullness of time, as my mother would say, will Hegseth, I mean, I'm sorry, will Marco Rubio be held to account for these 200,000 deaths of children? Will he be held to account? And I'm going to just let Spirit pull all the cards. I mean, it's, it's horrific. And, you know, you feel impotent, right? Because, well, we feel impotent about a lot of this stuff, but there are things we can do. So this is one of those things that I can do. All right. Will he be held to account? So, I mean, I'm going to say yes. We have the lily, we have the scythe, we have the key, we have the mountain. Again, we have the dog at the end. So, you know, Rubio, like the rest of them, is good time Charlie and going along to get along and is hoping that his ship will come in by showing his loyalty to 47. But his peace in the end will be destroyed. His peace of mind, to the degree that he has peace of mind. I mean, to me, he always looks like he wants to throw up. But anyway, to whatever degree he has peace of mind about his role in this administration, that will be severed. Love the key in the middle. He will be answerable for his crimes, I suspect. Um, but, you know, I know there's an expression, justice delayed is justice denied. And yes, justice will be delayed for him. And those 200,000 children will not be alived after having been unalived thanks to him. But there will be delayed justice coming to him. I can mirror these two cards together. It's coming. Um, and you know, what's that expression? Not in this, if not in this world, then in the next. I'm going to say in this world, there will be a price to pay by Rubio for shutting that down and killing those kids. Another administration question. So the guy who is now the head of uh, FEMA, I get no, what is he the head of? Hold on. I should have written his name down. The FEMA chief. Yeah, that's who he is. So FEMA, he's an acting head. Um, his last name is Richardson, but he was in a meeting with the FEMA staff who've been there a while, and he said, I didn't know there was a hurricane season. Now, of course, they were shocked and horrified that he would say that. The White House, of course, is spinning that it was a joke. Um, that, of course, he knows that there's such a thing as hurricane season. But does that improve things? It's kind of like Joni Ernst and her apology. Did that improve things? It did not. So why would you joke about that? I'm going to say that it wasn't a joke. I suspect he really didn't know that there was such a thing as hurricane season, which I have told you more than once began June 1st. I have also told you it's going to be bad. And what is my proof? Well, the head of FEMA either doesn't know that there's such a thing or is joking about the fact that he doesn't know that there's such a thing. So in either case, it's not good. So I just want to know why did he say that? Like, why did he say, I didn't know there was such a thing as hurricane season? I want to know the actual answer from Spirit. Why did he say that? All right, so we're going to cut the deck. Okay, and sorry, and let Spirit answer the question. Why did the head of FEMA say he had no idea there was such a thing as hurricane season? Well, let me show you the cards first. We have the letter, the anchor, the key, the stork, and the mice. I will say this. I don't think he did know. Not that there's a card that says he didn't know. So, for example, we don't see clouds, we don't see the book, and those cards would tell me um, definitively that he didn't know. He had probably heard tell through the grapevine that there was such a thing, so he kind of knew. But, this is the plans for what to do when what hits the fan, when these hurricanes and other storms start really hitting people. Um, Things have been stuck. I don't think that there has been forward movement in creating a good plan for the 2025 hurricane season. I think that everything's kind of been stuck on ice. Again, what do we have in the middle? The key. That's interesting. The good news, though, is the cards that follow. The key is the card that sort of answers questions. I always tell you it's the fraternal twin of the sun. It's that good of a card. Well, it's followed by the stork and the mice. Here's what I think. I think he did not know, but then I think he found out. And they were having a meeting where the staff was discussing the fact that in terms of an up-to-date plan for this current, now we're in it, hurricane season has been on ice, was news to him. He knew that FEMA had been cut, obviously, but I guess he thought like we think in Southern California that it's never going to rain. I guess that's what he thought. But the fact that he now realizes, no, there is a hurricane season, and this one is predicted to be a bad one. I think this is good news because we have the stork. I think there will be a positive change in the way the administration approaches this problem because this guy Richardson and everybody else is terrified. Terrified of what? I can mirror it with this card that they don't have their plan in place. This is the card for anxiety, worry, stress. So they are running uh, as fast as they can to catch up with themselves and doing work that they should have done months ago to prepare, but now they're definitely running to catch up. So that's good news. Okay. Um, Another one. Let's go offshore for a minute, shall we? I thought I just wanted to look at uh, the Dutch government has collapsed. So, like a lot of European countries, they have a coalition government. And apparently, the reason that the coalition split is that there was a very right of center guy who wanted to institute some really as bad as the ones we've got policies about immigration. So he had a really anti-immigrant stance that was just really cruel and as cruel and evil as ours is. And remember, it's a coalition government. And so the other parties were like, yeah, no, we can't work with you. So the government has fallen apart. Uh, I think I don't know. What I want to look at is this a good thing or not? The government will have to be, they'll do like the head of the government will step down. He will serve in an interim basis until there's an election. But I'm curious, what kind of government will the Netherlands put in? Will they elect? What kind of government will they elect? We've seen in different places around the world, Australia, for example, Canada, have responded in really terrific ways against what's going on here. So they did not pick their Trumpy candidates. This guy that wanted to do these awful draconian measures with immigration in Holland is a Trumpy guy. And the others said, you don't know how to play nicely with us, and so we're not working with you. So well, let's just see. And I will let Spirit pull all the cards and let's see whether we think what kind of government we think that the Netherlands will end up with. I don't know when they will call elections. I don't think that's been announced yet, but let's see. What kind of government will the Netherlands elect moving forward? Will they follow the example of the US or will they follow the example of Canada and Australia? Hmm. Okay, so things, of course, are up in the air right now, right? Because, this only just happened. Birds, clover, ship, and coffin. I really like the coffin because I mean nobody likes a coffin, but sometimes the coffin is the card for transformation. I'm going to pull a couple of clarifiers, but I think it's good, especially with the ship. I think they will move forward in a way that was probably more in keeping with Australia and Canada than with us. So that's good, especially with Clover in the middle, because Clover feels lucky to me. So here's all the confusion that this caused. The thing just suddenly, all of a sudden, fell apart. Uh, and now there are people talking, people meeting. Um, it's a coalition government, right? So everybody's going to their respective corners to talk about what they will and will not find acceptable in an incoming government, what they will or will not, um, bend for, what they insist on, that kind of thing. So there'll be all these meetings. But here we have it, things moving forward, and I think in a transformative way. But let's look. And again, I love Clover in the middle, but let's pull on the Clover and see. So we know things are up in the air now, but let's see what we get. Well, hmm. So we know we have the clouds. We know that's the confusion that they must be experiencing right now. We have the birds, and we know that they're in their respective corners talking about what they do and don't want in this new government that will be formed. Here we have Clover. I thought Clover looked good. Um, and then we have the sun, and I actually was tempted to stop there because, why tempt fate? But I tempted fate, and what do I get? The snake. And then we have the woman. I don't know whether there will be women um, as prominent people in this government, but there are problems that they're going to have to deal with. Again, it's a coalition government, and you've got, I mean, can you imagine us having a coalition government right now, as widely you know, uh, separated as we are from each other? How do you do that? How do you? And I think that the sun here is clarity, you know, the flashlight on things, on the fact that this is really a problem. They've got to figure out which way they're going to go. And they need to do it, as I say, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Okay, so here they are moving forward. Clarifiers are the whip. There's going to be a lot of arguing about this, about which way to go. Crossroads. Do we go this way as a country? Do we go this way? And somebody's going to have to give in. I mean, I get that it's a coalition, but there's some things that you cannot agree on. Like either you're Either you're a xenophobic racist or you're not. You can't be like a little pregnant, a little xenophobic, a little racist. So somebody's going to have to lose here. Uh, and frankly, I like the last line. I told you I had a good feeling about the coffin. Clarifiers are the dog, the anchor, and the key. And I think that, again, this is the card of transformation. I really do think that the Netherlands will want to be known as a friend to immigrants as opposed to a Nazi hunting, police squad like we've got going on over here. I don't think that they will want that. I think they will want to be seen as more benign, as more secure of a place for people to be. And then we have this key. But, the thing is, the key, I like the key, but I can mirror it with clouds. So they've got a ways to go. I know that they want this solved yesterday, but it only just happened, and people are on really opposite sides of this issue. And the Netherlands now, as every place else, is going to have to decide, who do we want to be? Who are we and who do we want to be? So I will look at it again closer to the time once they call the election date. I will look at this again, but I have good friends in the Netherlands, and so I wanted to look at that question. Okay, uh, two more. and then I have to go because I have to cook. Judge Xinis, who is has tasked the Trump administration with explaining the whole Abrego Garcia debacle and indicate what they've done to bring him back, etc., has received nothing but stonewalling. So she's getting pretty mad. And she's not the only judge who has had in front of them 45's lawyers who have just obfuscated and avoided and delayed and everything else, coming clean about what's being done to give these people their rights. And in Abrego Garcia's case, certainly to return him. And so she had a hearing today, and it was the same old, your requests are unreasonable. We need more time, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that the rubber is meeting the road. And I would just like to know whether she will do like they're doing and kick the can down the road more, or whether finally she will hold some of these attorneys and therefore the administration in contempt of court. So, what is she thinking? And I think I'll use a card for this. I'll use, well, let's use the woman. Let's see what she's thinking. It's a female judge. There are other judges who will have these kinds of decisions to make, but I'm curious about Judge Xinis. Xinis is her name. Okay, so we're going to use the older woman for Judge Xinis, and we want to know whether she is on the verge of holding you know who and his administration, his attorneys, in contempt of court. Okay, so we have clouds, we have the tower, we have Judge Xinis, we have fish, and we have birds. So again, where he is, how he is, it's all cloaked under a cloud of, you know, it's just hidden. This is the court. This is Judge Xinis. And I don't think she's going to jail anybody. I think she'll fine them. And she won't just file one attorney. I mean, what did I say? Fine. Yeah, not file, fine. She won't just fine one attorney. I think she'll fine more of them, several of them. Let's pull a couple of clarifiers. So for Judge Simmons, the cards are the woman, the young woman, the young man, and the house. It's about bringing people back, bringing people home. This is the card for home. So that's the issue is Abrego Garcia is supposed to be back here. Here we have being fined, which is a fish because it's money. And the clarifiers are the letter, you know who, and then the stork. Now, remember that hidden in the big, beautiful bill is that statute that says that uh, nobody can hold you know who or anybody in government in contempt for anything that you know who orders. That's slipped into the bill. There's a lot of things slipped into that big, beautiful bill that are not beautiful at all. Um, and I think that he's he is counting on that bill getting through. And so if she finds them, well, she can't. that she wouldn't be able to find them. So I think that's what he's hoping for, that she won't be able to find them. Just kick the can down the road a little bit more, let everybody kick the can down the road, and then we'll just get this big, beautiful bill passed, and I can continue to do what I want, and my lawyers will continue to stall and lie and entertainment purposes only. And then we have the birds clarified by the star, the bouquet, and the rider. I don't know. I don't love it. And it really is a question of timing. I think if these lawyers can kick the can down the road more, because this is the future, if they can just push it, push it, push it, push it. And, of course, these judges are afraid. They don't want to be swatted and doxxed and all the rest of it. Um, but, you took an oath to do your job. So, Judge Xinis, do your job. But, I don't love this. Somebody's going to get rewarded. And I worry that it will be that law that gets passed and that the message will be, that everything will continue to be done in the dark. And whatever gets uncovered, oh well, we can do it because the big beautiful bill said we could. So I'm not really optimistic about that. We have to do all we can, whether it's signing petitions, whether it's being in the streets. Well, you all, what I think about being in the streets. Those of you of a paler hue, get out there in those streets. The rest of us will be cheering you on from the sidelines in our homes because it's open season. Speaking of which, two more things. What time is it? Two more things. Okay, sorry, I didn't think this was going to go as long as it did, but I love being with you, so I get carried away. One is Erik Prince. Remember him? He was the brother of Betsy DeVos, who was the Secretary of Education and didn't know what she's doing any more than the current one does, McMahon. But anyway, her little brother, is Erik Prince. You will know that name, I suspect, because Erik Prince was the head of an operation called Blackwater. Now, it is currently, he's not that head of it anymore, and it still exists. It's called Constellus, like a constellation, Constellus. But anyway, he has been lobbying the White House for approval of something new that he wants to do. Now, this one, I don't know what the name of it stands for, but the name of it is 2USV. And this is a company, and it will, what he's lobbying for is to get a government contract for this company. And what will this company do? It will train and deploy up to 100,000 armed, deputized citizens. So all those people you've seen, the masked people, even here in San Diego, I might have seen that story where they went into a restaurant uh, with their masks and their guns and everything, um, and took into custody four workers. And the people in the restaurant and the people on the street were protesting this, and they threw these flash grenades that would, I guess, they make a loud sound and a loud bright, I mean, and a bright um, blast to sort of disperse people. Well, can you imagine 100,000 more of them, except these ones will be, also armed and dangerous? Here we go. So, will this force, this company, will it receive a government contract to train and deploy 100,000, probably the 50 something South Africans will be among them, uh, against us? Supposedly it's for immigration, but nobody is safe. So will they get that contract? Okay. I think I'll use the letter, and that will stand for a government contract for Erik Prince's proposal for his company to train and deploy 100,000 armed citizen, deputized citizens to terrorize us. Will they get the contract? Okay, so I'll pull some clarifiers. So we have the fox, don't love that. The heart, this is the contract, the book, and the snake. So first thing I can say is that I can mirror this up to no good fox with this up to no good snake. I mean, this is bad. This will create a military state in the country. Um, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you better have your papers on you because, shades of 1939 Germany. They mean us no good. And this is meant for anybody, really, I think, who disagrees with you know who. So that's bad. Um, I think that you know who loves the idea, but I also think he's not sure about it. I mean, would that be, to give that guy that contract, would that be tipping his hand too fast and too much? So let's pull some clarifiers. He'd love to do it, but let's just see what we get. Okay, I'll tell you what. This is really interesting. I just pulled one card on this sneaky box, and that is Clover. He'd love to do it, and he'd love to do it right now. Yeah, give him the contract. Uh, the heart, he'd love to do it, but he's not sure that he can get away with it. He thinks he might delay that. Just see how bad things get and whether he really needs it. The contract itself, clarifiers are the moon, the scales, and the house. He's got to think about, he being you know who, got to think about, well, if I allow this deployment, what will that do to my reputation? What will the law say about that? Um, can I actually get away with that given the powers that I have? And then we have the book. He's not sure, but stork, rider, and bouquet. I'm going to say that I do think that they will get the contract. That's what I think. You know why? This is like an award, being given an award or a raise or a gift. I think Erik Prince will get his contract. But I'll tell you what I also think. Look at this last line. Snake, young man, coffin, and lily. This will be trouble. These are these young men who will be deployed because, that's who it's going to be. But I haven't said this to you in a long, long time. But if you've read my book, and I will show it to you again, The Language of Lenormand, or Le Normand, or Lenormand, however you want to say it. In my book, I go through all the cards, of course, and I talk about certain combinations of cards. And this combination you do not see often, lily and coffin. But I'm telling you right now, when you see it, it means death. Now, this should not shock anyone, right? If you're going to deploy a 100,000 person force and they're armed against the citizenry, uh, who are eager beavers feeling themselves and their power, there's going to be trouble. And what is the trouble? Death. You know, think Kent State. And if you don't know what Kent State is, Kent State. That's your homework. Go look that up. It was an action that the National Guard took, and it was during Vietnam. This is not good. But, I will say that I also believe every bad thing that seems to happen is also hastening the end of this nightmare. It will have to get worse before it gets better. We are just entering summer. We're hardly in the height of summer. And lots of us who do this work are seeing, and I think you remember the reading that I did on who's health in the next 3 months. And when I saw that the line for the last month, which was August, I think by August, um, he will be in very dire straits. He will have enemies coming at him from all directions. But part of it will have been because he will have deployed Erik Prince's force. So just please be careful, wear sunglasses, wear build hats, cover tattoos if you have them. If you're out there, if you're Black, stay home. I'm just saying, let the choir take over. This is not for us. Um, I think it's not good. And you know what? I had one more question, but I think I'll save that till next time. So tomorrow, I won't be here. I'll be writing my Substack. So if you'd like a fix of Erica, you can find it on substack.com. It's in the company of cards, and that's where I write. I use Lenormand, and I also use an African oracle called the Adinkra, and I also use tarot. So you can see how those three systems work together to bring me a message that then I bring you. So, but I will see you later in the week. And thank you, thank you, thank you for all your support, your many kind comments, your wonderful questions. It's just, this is what I can do for the effort here. This is my contribution, and you make it a pleasure. And I'm really grateful. So I'll see you soon. Take care.